So your dad was put in 2017,
Yes,
and you made it in 2019.
correct.
Now, it's not the easiest question, but your dad passed in 2019.
Right.
Was he?
So I got to tell my dad he was dying. He was in hospice care, and I got to go tell him. When I got the phone call that I was chosen for the Hall of Fame, I drove right to Olympia where he was staying at a hospice care and told him. I brought his jacket. But yeah,
Was he still in good enough health to be able to enjoy that with you?
I still remember him going, "That's great."
Oh, that's amazing. It's the Fit for Radio podcast, and I'm your host, Drew Titeman. We're here at the Stafford Hills Club, as we always are. My favorite place to work out and to work. You can do the same. Hit them up today at staffordhills.com. They've got it all. Saltwater pool. We're turning the corner on Sunshine, so you can hit that up. Brand new workout facility. Beautiful tennis courts. They have pickleball here, CrossFit, on and on and on. And it all works out because I've got one of the big names in pickleball here with me today, Hall of Famer Steve Paranto. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Drew.
So glad to have you here. I actually really enjoy the game of pickleball, but I am also finding myself to be a bit of a rookie on the history of the game. And so many of us thought that it just like showed up.
Right.
And that it was,
that it's brand new right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you told me how long you've been playing the game, it blew my mind. Now, your history with this game goes all the way back, which we're going to get into, but you grew up in sports, lots of them. It looks like your parents were also athletic, and even mom maybe a little bit competitive.
Very much so.
Which all kind of rolled downhill to you, and athletics and physical movement become a big part of your life. But let's go back to the beginning. Growing up, you were into a lot of sports. What was it like for you at your house growing up?
Well, I was an only child, so my parents were my playmates, and so Dad and I took up. We'd think, okay, now he coached us in my softball team, baseball team when we were kids. He was the dad that would play basketball with us on the streets.
Nice.
In fact, I still remember sixth grade. My birthday present was a basketball hoop. We lived on a cul-de-sac. Surprised me. So the whole neighborhood could play, actually.
Yeah.
And we even painted lines we had NBA, which was Neighborhood Basketball Association, and foul. But my dad was the dad that played with us. And I don't ever remember one other dad coming out and playing basketball with the kids except for Dad. So that's kind of how I grew up with Dad just doing everything with us.
That's pretty cool. And, I think, I'm one of 4 kids. And so one nice thing about being an only child is they are kind of hyper-focused on you and your path. For me, my dad was my older brother's soccer coach, my older brother's basketball teammate, but it's also all relative. And I think a lot of parents, only child, lots of kids, especially when you're growing up, a dad is making an extra effort if they're partaking in their kids' activities, because so many dads were get home from work, I'm exhausted, hit the couch or have dinner and then just shut it down. So a cool relationship brewing early for you.
Right. I mean, I just remember him always having time after work, after school, to be playing with us, whatever our hobbies were. Table tennis was a big thing in our house. We had one in the garage, and we would back then. You played to 21 games, different now, and we'd play for money. So if you won a game by 10 points, I owed Dad 10 cents, and Mom too. I mean, we were serious.
They'd go at it.
Yeah, until about junior high when. My mom couldn't beat me anymore. Then she wanted to stop the betting.
Because, I was reading your bio and it said that you pointed out that your mom was competitive in sports. So when she got dug in, it was, I want to win this thing.
Yeah. Everything she did, I think it just would kill her. Losing was just like killing her. I mean, so that was She didn't deal with that very well. We had a pickleball court on our lake that we lived on. That's where Dad invented the first composite paddle. And you know how sound travels across water?
Oh, yeah.
And we had lights. We'd be playing late at night, and Mom would be cussing, and one night she's yelling and cussing, and across the lake we heard, "Hey, lady, it's only a game," from like a half mile across the lake, hearing my mom cuss during a pickleball match.
I mean, water is just the ultimate amplifier, right, too. And pickleball, and I'd like to get into this later, where I grew up, pickleball didn't end up being in the parks and all of that until much, much later, after the quote unquote boom, or, the rise of the game. And noise becomes an issue for neighbors and things along those lines.
Yeah.
But back to the early days, so when you're playing pickleball with your parents on the lake, is that before or after you're playing it in college?
Oh, that was after.
So you found the game at
I
college.
introduced it to my parents, and they were my biggest fans. So they came to the world's first pickleball championship that I was in 1975.
Okay.
So it's been over 50 years. We're going to reenact that. In fact, it was 1976, actually. We're going to reenact that this summer on Bainbridge Island.
That's awesome.
Where the sport was invented.
Because people don't know, you are the longest running tournament player currently, correct?
Right. I'm still playing, and I've played tournaments since 74.
And so take me back to when you're in college and somebody introduces you to this game. Because I didn't know it was even invented at that point.
Right. Well, people always ask me, who introduced you? Well, it wasn't a person. I was going to college at Green River Community College in Auburn, Washington. I was on the tennis team, and it rains a lot. We didn't have indoor tennis facilities. And we heard the sound of the pickleballs on the wooden paddles and saw people playing it. We're all tennis players. We'll be good at this. In fact, our college professors went on strike. This is right. I'm a freshman in college. Professors went on strike for 2 or 3 weeks. And me and my buddy Dave Lester, we just played pickleball every single day. And then it turned out we played just about every day. We played more pickleball than we did tennis.
And so it's nice to get a little break as they take the strike. That's just free time to pick up a new game.
Right.
So when you start to play this game, is it an instant love? Does it jump the line on tennis almost immediately, or is that an ongoing process?
I think it was an instant love for me because I just had the knack for it. I wasn't the best tennis player at our college, and my partner wasn't number one singles either, but we were the best pickleball players. There's something about that game, I think, because we had table tennis experience. It's kind of a hybrid of table tennis.
Yeah.
And then my partner was a top badminton player, tournament, level, rated really high in the Northwest. So he combined badminton, tennis, and table tennis. We're probably really the first person to really combine those three and use it in the game. We came up with strategies that weren't being used yet.
That's impressive. So as you're getting into the game, tell me how I want to say unpopular, but how popular is the game at that point? Is it completely off the radar?
It is totally off the radar. It was just pockets of people playing. For years and years and years, I would tell people I played pickleball, and then I would have to go through my spiel. Because the first thing was, what is pickleball? I mean, this is even 8 years ago. And then you'd have to have your little spiel, and we'd be calling fitness clubs like this. In fact, we did one here to put on a exhibition demonstration to get our club our sport into clubs like this. And we would knock on the doors of all the clubs, and some would be interested, some wouldn't. Now they're coming to us.
Yeah, it's a totally different operation. What I noticed about pickleball when I first played it, we were out at a place called Camp Sherman.
Oh, yeah.
Out near Black Butte, Oregon. And there's no cell phones. There's no television. There's none of those things. And it's just what's in the activities box. Yeah. So we're going to use whatever's in here. And so there were a couple of pickleball paddles. And so we went, and I'm not even sure they were in great condition, but they'd been out in the elements. We started playing. And what I noticed was the point of entry on it is so much more inviting than tennis. tennis, we would go on these trips as kids and you'd grab a couple of rackets and be banging it over the fence, or you couldn't return a serve. And you just I couldn't play enough to get good at it or find somebody who was also willing to put in the time. But pickleball, we picked it up. And my nephew and I, who at the time, I think he was 12 or 13, I'm a 40-year-old man at this time.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, we're just going to have to kind of play this light. Next thing you know, the two of us are running around smacking this ball, battling back and forth. And granted, he's an athlete, but it isn't often that a 40-year-old man and a 13-year-old kid can play a game where you're both enjoying it on a competitive level immediately.
Well, I'll go farther than that. I mean, I'm watching 80-year-olds play with very athletic teenagers also and enjoying.
And they can stay in the game.
Yeah.
And that's so different from tennis for me and for most sports, really. You get that kind of an age gap, or even just in overall natural athleticism. Because I find that I can get across a pickleball court in a way where I can get to the shot. Now, will I hit it correctly? That's going to be the point there. But it just allows people to get into it and play a game when you're older. Because golf had that market cornered. When you can't play sports and you want to be competitive, you just play golf. But you can do this and still be in the game and get that heart rate up.
Right. It's great for fitness, great for seniors. Right now, I'm teaching a senior pickleball class with another instructor, Kevin Beeson, every Thursday at our club. And you have to be 60 and over to be in the class. And we're working on balance. We're working on strength. We're working on cardio. We do a warm up. I'm kind of like the Jane Fonda on the pickleball court, where we have pickleball warm up to music. It just checks all the boxes for fitness for seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Doubles especially. Now singles, that's a different story. That's too much court to cover. We had the reputation of being the old person sport for quite a while until this boom happened recently. Our best players now, just to make this clear, are all very young.
Mm-hmm.
You're an old guy if you're in your 30, if you're above, just like an NBA basketball player. You're 35, you're slowing down. So our best woman in the world is 19, Annalie Waters. She just signed a deal with Nike. She just signed a deal with Franklin Sports for her paddle. So that's a $10 million deal with the paddle company.
Whoa.
I'm not sure what she's getting from Nike.
So they're getting real athlete money now.
Yeah, well, she's been making more money than any of the WNBA players.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, and she's been number one in the world since she was 15.
Man.
And she's 19. The number one man is 26.
And I noticed that also because as I was doing some research before you came in, I was rolling through the Hall of Fame, which you're a member of, and we'll get to exactly how that comes about here in a second. But I'm looking at some of the newer classes, and you've got much younger faces going in, and people who look like pretty legitimate athletes. So
Right.
It's not a game where you just sneak in and win titles, at least anymore. It's not going to happen.
No, to get in at the Hall of Fame as a player, you have to dominate for 5 years.
Okay.
And that's not easy to do. In fact, right now we'll have a great new player. Oh, this is the one. And a year later, they're not winning anymore because there's just new people coming into our sport. I don't know if you're familiar with Jack Sock, great tennis player.
Yeah.
Won gold in the Olympics. He's the most successful pro tennis player that's come to pickleball.
Okay.
He's not number one, but he's in the top 5 singles, which makes sense. Singles is so much more like singles tennis.
Mm-hmm.
And he's moving up there in doubles, but also he is in his 30s. So he may,
he's got a little time.
If he was 26 instead of 36, he would have more time to.
Yeah. And I think that with, it's funny that you say that, you're always leading the warm-ups and all that. Well, you're well qualified to do such a thing. You spent 30 years teaching physical education at the elementary school level.
Yeah, I loved it.
That's impressive. And you told me that you're still teaching kids and you donate your time a lot of times, which I thought was pretty awesome. But what was that like for you? And was that always the plan for you to be an education?
My plan, because my life kind of evolved around tennis when I was in high school. And my plan was I would love to be a high school tennis coach, maybe a college tennis coach. In fact, actually, my first year at Pacific University, the coach had left that recruited me. I was a player coach my first year at Pacific University.
Oh, wow.
But that was my plan. And then when you student teach, you student teach at different levels. So I student taught at grade school and I student taught at Hillsborough High at the high school level. And I realized, man, I just like working with the elementary kids. I had more impact. And I want to make it fun.
Because those are the formative years of really building them into someone who can do this in the future.
Yeah. And I was different at the time where I taught unicycling, juggling, foot bag, hacky sack, racket sports, and then all your traditional, soccer, basketball, track, and everything. I just wanted kids to be lifelong movers. So I wanted them to have a great experience in my PE class so that for the rest of their life, they're out there doing some kind of activity that they enjoy.
And I think most kids who had a PE teacher that they loved and who loved it back, they never forget that. Because I remember the games, and even the ones we're not allowed to play anymore, the dodgeballs and the Pony Express and all these things where you're hucking items at each other. But I remember those years as being important. And now I don't think I got gifted with the kind of teacher that I believe you to be. I mean, all of my physical education teachers looked like they had never taken physical education. Yeah. And so they didn't look the part. And maybe I feel like I caught mine late in the game where they were a little over it.
It could be. Now, I taught 9 classes a day. Elementary school, they're 30 minutes long, nine classes. And I actually worked out with every class. So if I had kids going around the track, I was going around the track with them.
Smart way to stay in shape too.
I kept in very good shape, but I wanted to be a role model. I wanted to be a role model. So I was doing things with the kids, and we did lots of station activities in my gym class. And kids are going from this to this to this to this, and lots of activity. Nobody's standing in lines. Now, you mentioned we can't do dodgeball anymore. So I loved having dodgeball type activities. Now, we didn't use rubber balls. We were using foam balls.
Yeah.
And there's a million of them. And we have targets besides people, but we also have people as targets too. There's nothing really that can teach that many kids all at once how to track and react more than a dodgeball type game. And then we didn't call it dodgeball. It was SpongeBob SquarePants. And so you're SpongeBob and you're,
yeah.
And so I never had that complaint about, the old traditional stereotype. You get hit, you're out. My kids aren't out. You do 10 push-ups, you're back in.
Oh, there you go.
So, you do 5 sit-ups or what, so nobody's out. That's terrible. I mean, I'm going to sit down and not get exercise? No, I want you getting exercise.
I like that move. The kids who are willing to do that to get back in the game can play, because that makes total sense. You get hit 3 times in dodgeball and you didn't move all day.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I want to teach some fitness and activity and movement. So you're never out.
Well, I think it's also, it's funny that you end up in the Pickleball Hall of Fame, because in a combination of unicycling, juggling, and I also had read that when you were a kid, you learned how to be a ventriloquist. So you could have been in the circus, Steve, with all these skills of yours, but instead you went another path.
There's probably a time in my life I would have enjoyed being in the circus.
Can you still do?
I still ride my unicycle, and I still juggle, and I still kick hacky sack, and ventriloquism I use at parties at my house. But that was my summer gig. I was doing children daycare centers. I had Paranto's pal, so music, magic, juggling, and evolved around my characters.
And you even did this for people who had been deployed.
Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah, so you were helping people on that level too, which is cool. Now, your dad got you that ventriloquist.
My dad made my first real professional dummy my dad made by reading a book that Paul Winchell wrote. That was a famous ventriloquist in the 50s, early 60s. And he's the one that wrote my routines because when I entertained at Fort Lewis, I was in a troupe. I was the only kid. So, there would be the dancers, and there would be the rock and roll band, and the comedian, and then I was the kid. It was like a 2-hour show. That was my junior high period.
That's impressive, though. I was a kid performer as well, so I was always the one on display. at that same age. So it's kind of a special thing. And
what did you do? What was your?
Well, I was a kid actor, singer,
right.
dancer, theater, the whole thing, TV commercials.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You go back, I will squirm out of the chair looking at the old TV commercials and the old Columbia jacket with the turtleneck and the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was into that for years before I got into radio, and then I used that avenue to actually make a paycheck and entertain at the same time. Now, I want to talk more about your dad, because that's not by chance that he makes you that dummy to play with, because he's an engineer and an inventor and so much more. And that actually is what's going to lead not just you, but him also into the Hall of Fame.
My dad was inducted in the Hall of Fame the very first year, 2017, that the Hall of Fame formed, with the inventors of the sport.
Which that's on another level.
Yeah, and I mean, Dad just couldn't believe it, but he revolutionized the sport. So I was complaining about wooden pickleball paddles being so heavy. And he wasn't even quite playing yet. Maybe he had just started playing. And then and I purposely
planted the seed there.
Yeah. And then a week later, he's got 2 prototypes. I still have those 2 paddles. And we go out and hit, and right away, oh man, the sweet spot's bigger. Listen to that nice sound. Pop. Of course, that's the sound everybody hates now if you live near so my dad created that problem.
Yeah,
the wooden paddles don't make that much noise, but ours made that really loud punk, and it revolutionized the sport. It made it so your hands were quicker. You could reset balls. The rallies are more fun. Kids could handle a 7-ounce paddle compared to the old 12-ounce wood paddles. It just changed. The sport could have actually died without that invention.
And you guys probably caused 10,000 noise complaints across the continental United States over time,
probably,
or more. I want to discuss exactly how that paddle gets made, because your dad was working at Boeing.
Yeah, he was an engineer.
Which that's a convenient spot to find the materials needed for that.
Boeing surplus store. So he knew when I said lighter material, he knew right away. Floor paneling from jet airplanes. That's what it was. And he created the company was called ProLite. Nobody won a tournament without our paddle from 84 till like 2004. Then the sport blew up. Now we have 2,000 brands, and they're all basically a copy of Dad's honeycomb. There is some new things happening right now with foams, but it just revolutionized the sport. But he was an engineer, went to the surplus store, brought panels back home, and before you know it, we're going to the surplus store every month, just filling up a truck full of those panels.
That's amazing. You're listening to the Fit for Radio podcast, brought to you by the Stafford Hills Club. It's a place, let's be honest, you gotta check it out. Of course, it's the premier indoor-outdoor tennis facility where you can take lessons, you can play with your friends, tournaments, all kinds of stuff. Also, saltwater pool, an amazing kids club with a group of people who take care of my wild kids, and that's saying a lot all by itself. So check it out, staffordhills.com. All the amenities, you're not going to be disappointed. Voted the best health and wellness facility in the Portland area. And of course, tell them Drew sent you for half off your initiation at the Stafford Hills Club. So I wanted to ask you about the Boeing surplus store, because the thought of that, where you'd be able to buy paneling from an airplane. Now, was that for only people who work at Boeing, or were you guys allowed?
Anybody could go to that surplus store.
Really? Does that still exist?
I doubt it.
Yeah, it seems like an old school idea.
Actually, for legal reasons, that material that we had, if you don't have a mask on when you're routing it out, it's not safe. So probably for legal reasons, they probably can't even sell anything, a lot of the things that they were selling.
So you guys were filling up the truck or the car, and then coming back, and you were personally making the paddles, or did you farm that?
No, in fact, here's a good example of an early paddle right here. Now, Dad made entire paddle. I made the butt caps.
Okay.
Another machine that Dad invented. But it was a 20-step process that Dad figured out. So it was like an assembly line in our garage.
Oh, cool. And so on the inside of those 2 panels is a honeycomb.
This is all, honeycomb, and this one's fiberglass. We had whatever materials. Some were fiberglass, some were Nomex, some were kind of a metal. But and any of them that say Eatonville on them were made in our garage by my dad.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how long do you guys continue to produce these things yourself?
We did it until about middle of the 90s for about 10, 12 years. And then we sold it. And the guy that we sold it to didn't do much with it, but then he sold it to Mark Friedenberg, who's also in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
And Mark did a great job with the company for his years. And now his son has ProLite. So ProLite's still a brand.
Okay.
They're not sponsoring pros. And just like anything else,
that's what takes off.
Everybody wants to use paddles that the pros are using on TV. And so right now, the big brand, I'm sponsored by Selkirk. That's a big brand. In fact, it's one of the few made in the United States. That's in Idaho. Selkirk's big. Eula, who was a table tennis brand, they're big. Franklin. Actually, it goes on and on and on with Ping Golf is getting into making paddles right now. A friend of mine, a pro, Eric Lang, is advising them, so he's working with Ping. Adidas
goes on and on.
Yeah.
Because when I had that experience out at Camp Sherman playing pickleball, when I got home, the first thing I did was go online and buy paddles because I needed to have them in case we needed to play again.
How many years ago was that?
It was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. There's a lot of brands even 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, so there were, and that's kind of what I was going to get at, is that when I went, it was like a slew of different options, and I just kind of picked a price point for a rookie like I was coming in, and so they do the trick. But I'm sure if I showed you, you'd be like, "Well, you should have got that one."
Maybe beginners really
don't
need to spend $300 on your paddle. They're up to $300 now.
Oh.
You can get a very good paddle for $100, $75 maybe. What you pay for when you spend the extra is a little more power and a little more spin and a little bigger sweet spot.
So what causes more spin? Is it just the texture?
Texture. So this is, in the old days, the rules were you had to have a smooth surface.
Okay.
Now, even though the rules said smooth surface, paddle companies said, well, I'm going to add a little. And then players loved it. So then they had, you could have this much.
You can have a little bit.
And then this much and this much. But now we have governing body that's really keeping track of that. But
okay.
I could almost file my fingernails on. It isn't rubber like table tennis.
Oh, yeah. It definitely there's definitely a texture. It's like, it's not quite like a grip tape, but it's definitely not like linoleum smooth.
Right.
There's something there.
And you notice the weight on the sides? That is perimeter weighting like we use in golf clubs.
Oh, okay.
And that
allows you to have
less twist, and that makes it feel like the sweet spot's a little bigger.
A little more pop there.
Yeah.
Those are cool. Yeah, that's come a long way.
Yeah, and you see the size difference. So this one was traditional size. I did design the first oversized paddle back then. It was bigger than this. We called it the Magnum, which is pretty close to what we're using now. Today's paddles can't exceed 24 inches if you combine the length and width. So if you have one longer, it has to be narrower. So it's give and take.
That makes sense.
Because if you have a long, narrow one, well, now you don't have much sweet spot this one. So that's the rules. There are quite a few rules now on the paddles.
Was like for you guys sold the paddle company and then it went through multiple hands. Do you ever wish you had kept it?
Well, I guess because it would have been fun to be a zillionaire. Because the brand,
it blew up on a level.
Yeah.
But you never know at those times too. And really, I'd rather be the inventor than the one who has it. Because when it's all said and done, people remember the inventor of basketball.
Yeah,
they don't.
Naismith.
Yeah, they don't remember who owned the New Jersey Nets for X, Y, and Z years.
When you talk about, I was a big fan of basketball, and so I remember in 6th grade doing a book report on Naismith.
Yeah,
and this is the world's first championship right here. That's me when I had muscles.
Is that you on the left?
Yeah, I was 20.
Jacked.
Yeah, I was 20. And my partner Dave Lester, and this was the first championship finals. And
grade school PE teachers don't look like that. That's impressive.
And in the audience are the inventors.
Oh, really?
So I'm playing
right in front of them,
and we beat them earlier in the tournament. And how many people can say, or that that Naismith watched them play a basketball game, or I mean, there's
it's nearly
probably nobody alive now, but
no.
That's something I'll always have, is that I can say that.
And I think as the game continues to grow and it's really blown up, the fact that you're in the Hall of Fame, that's just going to get bigger and more wild with time, like how important it is to be there, how hard it is to be there. And you are in there, and your dad is in there for inventing the paddle as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to be able to hang your hat on.
Yeah, I have to pinch myself that I'm in a Hall of Fame of a sport, period. And then that it happens to be the sport that I'm so passionate about.
And you continue to work with people and kids, young adults, things like that on the game, because we were going to schedule, and you're like, oh, I'm helping these people out and I like them, so I'm not charging them. And I'm just like, you're really promoting the game more than anything.
Always. That's what we did is we wanted everybody to play this game we're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And now they are. It is the fastest growing sport in the world. People don't realize this. We think we had a big boom during COVID. It doesn't compare to what's going on right now in China and Vietnam and Malaysia. Vietnam per capita is the biggest pickleball place in the world.
Because I was going to ask you about worldwide growth, because you think with blinders on, you think, oh, it's all over the country. But this game translates well to different types of people. And I would think that in China, they could be dangerous at this.
Well, yeah. I mean, Seymour Rifkin's going to be a guest at my house tomorrow. Seymour's probably working harder than anyone to get us in the Olympics. And he has some Olympic background, coaching Olympic gymnasts. He's going to China 2 to 3 times a year, going to Vietnam, going to Australia, getting all these countries so involved in pickleball. No, think of all the countries that enjoy badminton and table tennis.
And they like it on a level that we could never even understand.
Yeah.
And they're good.
Yeah. We are worried that when we do get in the Olympics, all the people on the medal stand are going to be from another country.
So where are we at with that, with the Olympic push? I would guess that you would be on the forefront of working on that.
The Olympic Committee loves pickleball. The problem right now, the one big stumbling block, we have 2 governing bodies, and the Olympic Committee wants 1. And so they're going to have to work together. But,
so what are the 2?
So one is Seymour's, my friend Seymour, and that's the World Pickleball Federation.
Okay.
And then there's another one, Global.
Oh.
And they have to get together in order for us to get in the Olympics.
If you're going to grow it,
I mean,
level.
There is a possibility that if, like, tomorrow these 2 groups get together, that we could still be in the Olympics for the LA Olympics.
Wouldn't that be cool?
But it's probably going to be the Australian Olympics in Brisbane.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's one of those things where if it makes it into the Olympics, I feel like it's going to stay. Some things have come in and then gone away. I mean,
we're not a fad.
We have break dancing in the Olympics. Can we not get pickleball in there?
Right. But they must have done everything correct politically to get in the Olympics too at the same time. That's what you have to do. But no, just to make this clear, pickleball is not a fad.
No.
This is here to stay. It's not going away like racquetball did.
Yeah.
For one thing, it's easier to put courts. You can play in your driveway. Again, easier entry level. But at the same time, even though it's easy entry level, the skill level to excel is difficult. Very difficult.
And it's not often you get both of those.
No.
Because like golf is, I guess golf is relatively close to this, but golf is tough to get started. You can't just walk out and play golf.
No.
You'll get laughed off a tee box.
Right.
And I remember the first time I just went out with buddies and they were all good and I just borrowed clubs.
Mm-hmm.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah. Golf is hard. It's a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm. And now when you get a little better at it, it's so much fun, but it's also to get up to the top. It's the same as any sport. Pickleball is not going to the pro and me are never going to be on the same level, but I love the fact that I could play against just some standard issue guy and we could battle
and have fun
and get a great workout.
Yeah. So people that are coming from any sport that involves footwork or tracking and reacting, I thought for a lot of years, well, soccer players would be difficult to coach because they don't use their hand. No, they're great. They're footwork and they still track and react to ball. Right now, one of my kids that I love working with, 17-year-old Miles Reedy, and his dad played for the Timbers.
Oh, cool.
Troy. And he's a regular now at my Playhouse playing. And my goal with him, he's 45 years old, is by time, see, we have age groups. Senior pros begin at 50. And he's kind of, I'm trying to get him on that path to be that.
To be ready at 50.
Yeah.
See, that's cool. And I think that having those other opportunities too is to be able to still compete on a higher level as time goes on. You know, like I had a guy in here recently who runs Ironmans, and you're running the Ironman with other people, but you're competing against a finite group in your age group.
And we do the same in pickleball. It's every 5 years. So last year was my first year in the 70s, and it's based on calendar year. So I was 69, but I got to play in the 70s. And the same with my mixed doubles partner, Judy Horfrost. She's in the Hall of Fame of table tennis.
Oh, cool.
She was on that team that went to China in 71, ping pong diplomacy, the scene from Forrest Gump, based on her team. She was the youngest member of that team. Well, we're the same age, and she's phenomenal.
That's awesome.
So last year we called ourselves the 70-year-old virgins. We were the we were the young ones, and we were new, and so that's all. So the trick now, when you get to be at 70 to 74. Is to stay healthy together, or hey, let's do our knee surgery together next
so
year.
We're all ready when it's time,
right? Yeah.
So how do you find that since you mention it, you and her play competitively, is the upkeep on the body, and you're doing the stretching and you're doing all the stuff, and you're 30 years trained in healthy habits, but how does the body hold up out there? I mean,
it's different for everybody. I'm fortunate that my knees and hips are not an issue. Right now I'm having a little foot pain from all the singles. So I took second at nationals this year for my age. And that's a lot of running.
Yeah.
And at my age, it's probably not too smart to play a lot of singles just because you're sprinting so much. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. So you have to kind of be careful that you don't overdo it. Pickleball players are famous for overdoing it because they don't like to stop.
So they just go. So is the foot pain like a plantar fasciitis type thing?
I think I have some tendons that are strained right now. I played the last 3 days.
It's tough because when you're not resting.
I can play doubles. Singles right now would be a no-no. So I've got like every day scheduled to play, for the next week, where my men's doubles partner was in town from Seattle, and he brought his mixed partner, and his brother was my college roommate, my doubles partner in college in tennis, and he's learning. And so we just had a big mixed weekend with mixed our partners, so men, women, and then then the ladies would play their gender match, and we'd play our gender match, and we would mix it. And then I threw in 2 of my star teenagers.
Oh, there you go.
And we called when we played men's doubles with the kids, we didn't let them be on the same team. But then it made it even. But we jokingly call it men's mixed doubles because in mixed doubles, oftentimes the man just takes over the entire court, and the girl has a small area, but she also has to hit a lot of balls because we isolate them.
Yeah.
So we are men's mixed doubles when we're playing with the kids. We're that role of let's let the kid cover everything. If a lob goes up, instantly I just say yours. You just run that down. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that works. Now, you mentioned earlier, I wanted to elaborate on this, saying that you play at the playground. Now, you're not talking about Playhouse. Sorry.
I have 2 indoor courts at my
The
home.
Playhouse.
Paranto Playhouse.
So, yeah, it's not like a discovery zone. It's a legitimate double pickleball indoor courts. So tell me, what was the brainchild behind this? How did it come about?
Oh, it's always been a dream of mine. So in the Northwest, it rains so much. I've had an outdoor court since '82. So in 4 different homes, I've had outdoor courts. It's great, but it rains. And so I found this piece of property in Beaver Creek, Oregon, not too far from Oregon City. we bought the house and built a big playhouse for pickleball.
So did you have like a couple acres out there where you could?
A couple acres.
Because it's not a small chunk.
No, it's a couple acres, and then but the building is 78 by 60. And then we have an upstairs to view.
Oh, nice
viewing. Yeah,
it's impressive. I also saw a golf simulator out there, which I was extremely jealous of.
Yeah, we do have a golf simulator in there. Last night we used the golf simulator as our screen to watch the Oscars.
Yeah, which you do an Oscar thing every year, and then you also play pickleball.
We played pickleball all day up until the Oscar ceremony.
It's pretty amazing, and no noise complaints.
Well, no, I'm indoors.
When you're at the Playhouse,
so that's right. Nobody. Yeah,
you can call all you want.
We're indoors, so usually we have music playing, and yeah,
that's pretty sweet, though. I mean, and the weather can't get at you.
Mm-mm.
So, how often would you say that you're at the Playhouse?
Every day.
Every single day.
Yeah. I have a teaching pro that teaches there 3 days a week too. Bonnie Williams, an excellent teacher and player in her own right, teaches at my facility 3 days a week, and she teaches at a similar one out near Hillsborough the other 2 days. 8 hours a day.
That's incredible.
People love to take pickleball lessons. If you're serious about pickleball, there's so many different shots to work on.
Yeah.
And because of these new paddles, the way they've developed, I'm teaching things now I didn't teach 3 years ago.
There's extra wrinkles in the game now because it's more advanced.
Right.
Now, when it comes to the paddle itself, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, were you a part of creating a quieter paddle?
So 10 years ago, when the noise issue started, I invented a product called the Quiet Pickle Pad that went on. It was a felt covering, but then I put a smooth surface over that since we weren't allowed to have any texture. Well, at the time, the governing body wouldn't allow it. Now there is one. It's called the Owl. It's basically the same thing, and it is approved.
So you had the idea, but they weren't ready for it yet. Basically,
something like that. Yeah.
So do you? What is your thought process on? Because just speaking of the noise, while we're on the topic, there's a park in downtown Lake Oswego
where we lost.
And they were so up in arms about it. And now my stance, I would guess, would be more along the stance of what the pickleballers would say is you bought a house next to a park. And so kids play baseball at that park right there. People are on the playground at the park right there. And so to pick which noises are and which aren't appropriate at a park, to me seems like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, pickleball players love the sound, by the way.
I like the sound.
But neighbors that maybe are trying to sleep, it is. I can see it being an annoying sound, but so can a basketball, and so can kids screaming. But I think part of that problem is because pickleball was so popular, the courts were always filled, which means, and they used to be tennis courts, so they would only be hardly used. And then when there were people, you only had 2 tennis courts.
Yeah.
Well, now I think there was something like 8 pickleball courts, and everybody's playing doubles, not singles. So parking issues too.
So it's crowding the area.
Park in front of people's homes, and because it was so popular.
And I'll tell you, Steve, my stance there is not from a guy who lives next to the park. You see, I don't live next to the park, so I'm like, I don't see the problem. But if it's going pop, 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 and I can't get a spot in front of my house, I could see I would deteriorate your morale.
Yeah.
So you said they lost that?
Yeah, there's no pickleball courts there now.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
So what's the answer then?
Well, the answer is indoor clubs. So I'm working at Rex as an instructor. In fact, we just opened our second one not very far from here. Then there's Pickleball Kingdom not very far from here. That used to be at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, that's near my house.
Then there's Jumbos. There's at Lloyd Center. There's Jumbos in Beaverton. So these are indoor clubs.
So I go way back with Jumbo and his family.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Yeah, his son Roshan is best buddies with my brother. And
did you know
went to high school.
Did you know they opened these pickleball clubs?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah.
I actually was going to mention them to you, but it's a small world out there, especially in the pickleball community, where I'm sure you guys all know of everything that's going on there.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think that what's our growth pattern here? So it's been exponential.
It's still exponential because of the other countries.
And you think we'll just keep going until...
I don't see an end to it.
Do you think it'll have a bigger presence when it comes, like most of these sports, they get big and then they get more TV time and they get more notoriety that way. They start showing up on the ESPNs and the Fox Sportses of the world. Mm-hmm. What's your thought there?
Right now we have Pickleball TV. It's owned by the Tennis Channel. So we're being almost every weekend. It's
being broadcast
on TV, and we have been on ESPN and we've been on CBS Sports. So that's happening. Everybody loves football for not just because they're football fans, but because they wager on it.
Mm-hmm.
Wagering's coming to pickleball. In fact, you can already do it in some states.
So yeah,
pickleball.
So once it hits DraftKings, which is where you can legally bet on sports here, you're right. That's what blows something up on a whole nother level
scale. I believe this is correct, but during COVID, table tennis was the most wagered sport in the world.
Whoa!
Yeah, remember, table tennis is huge in other countries.
And during COVID, they shut down so many sports that was actually the super launch of. People already were betting on UFC fights, but they were the only ones, and I'm sure in other countries in table tennis is kind of the same thing. You could play in an excluded area without a bunch of people breathing on each other. Yeah. UFC was able to do it, and it blew up their betting game because the football fans and the basketball fans had nothing to scratch that itch, and so it grew exponentially there too. So I could see where, I know enough degenerates to where it would help
the other growth is going to be high schools are going to have teams. Colleges already have teams. One of my kids that I coach is playing for Grand Canyon University in Arizona. He was on YouTube last week with one of his matches at National Collegiate Championships, and he won and got interviewed. And
that's great.
He's home right now for spring break, so he's been to my house, and I took him bowling one day. I found out he joined the bowling league at his college, and I was a college bowler also.
Yeah. So you and your dad were good bowlers.
Yeah. We both had 300s.
Because I thought I saw that.
My dad's 300 was when he was 66 years old.
How many 300 games did you say?
Well, I've had 7 in competition. I've had more that weren't in competition.
That's amazing.
But
so you've got touch. That's for sure.
There's a lot of bowlers with a lot of 300s. So if you're serious about bowling,
The Fit for Radio podcast is brought to you by the Stafford Hills Club. And when you come here, you will notice the difference. The sense of community is amazing. People smiling, happy. They hold the door for you around here. And of course, it's one of those clubs that when you sign up, they want you to come back. They want you to be happy and healthy, because then we can all be together for a long time. Check out all the amenities and everything they have to offer at StaffordHills.com. Tell them Drew sent you and get half off your initiation. All right, I did want to touch on the whole high school sports thing, because I didn't even really think about that before we sat down here. And that is that really is the growth system that we need to take it to the next level, especially if we're going to be competing on a global scale. Because you talk about some of those Asian countries, they work hard at a game and they practice hard at a game. And so if we're like, oh, give it a shot, we're going to get throttled. So, the competitive guy in me is like, okay, well, how are we going to win? And I would think that high school and the youth sports in general, where we have a farm system that's going to find the next superstar.
Right.
Where are we in the process of trying to get it into schools? And is there like a group who's pushing to try and open that door?
So we have quite a few high schools actually in there that have clubs, and then they will organize to play other high schools. That's how lacrosse is a club sport.
I played club lacrosse, and it was multiple high schools would have to make one team. But we knew that was the catalyst to getting it where it needed to be.
And that's where we're at right now, where it's a club sport, not a varsity sport. We sat down and talked with the OSAA, and he said we take forever. They've added like one sport in 20 years. Was it women's wrestling was added? Maybe men's volleyball. I mean, just they snail pace. So they even told us, really, you should go the club route like lacrosse. But lacrosse is a very popular high school sport.
Oh, it's humongous now.
Yeah.
And kids are quitting other sports to play it. It's when we played, there were 6 or 7 teams in the state. Your you would play at home one week and then you would have to drive to Hood River from Portland the next week, you know, so there might be some growing pains in it and you might have to find the competition, but I think it's all there.
It'll happen fast. Here's what I would like to see in Oregon. Our tennis is in the spring, have it in the fall. So we could still use the same tennis courts, have lines that are, you know, they'd have to be pickleball lines on tennis courts. The tennis coaches might not like that right away, but, you know, we play basketball with volleyball lines and
there's 1,000 lines.
1,000 lines, right? So, and that's how we started pickleball anyways, putting lines on tennis courts. But that would be, so the tennis players are going to be attracted to this game. They already are.
Yeah.
So you get those kids playing in the fall. Some tennis coaches are going to realize, hey, my kids are better tennis players now because of playing pickleball all fall.
I would guess so.
Yeah. And so that's what I think is going to happen. We do have colleges right now giving scholarships.
Okay. So there is a path for people.
Yeah. And not only that, colleges have realized that when they put courts at their university for study breaks for kids to play, they're very popular to attract students to those colleges.
You know, what I've noticed also where I live, you know, I'll go ride my bike in the summertime and there's multiple businesses in Lake Oswego over here that have put in pickleball for break time. So, and I drove by one day and I was like, oh my God, there's a pickleball court here. And so I went up to it and it had a big sign. It was like, employees only, back off. But the idea is they're keeping their people active. When they stop down, they can take that lunch break or whatever to go do pickleball.
Right.
It's a good workout. It's good kind of bonding with other employees. And does that tell you about the growth of a game? I mean, most businesses don't even have a basketball hoop outside. You've got a full-blown pickleball, like a nice court.
Fire stations often will pull their fire truck out and play pickleball. And a lot of that is because they got hurt playing basketball. And so pickleball was safer for the firemen to play so they wouldn't have, you know,
injuries.
I got hurt at work.
Oh, yeah,
playing basketball.
Comp and the whole deal.
Yeah. You're familiar with the Leatherman tool.
Yeah, of course.
So Tim Leatherman played at my house last night.
Oh, nice.
He's probably playing again tomorrow night. Very, very good top national champion for 75. Him and his partner, Steve Berliner, that started that together. They're same age. They've been friends since table tennis days when they were teenagers. They have at Leatherman Tools a pickleball court, a very nice one.
Nice.
And so that employees can use that court too.
And the Leatherman is amazing and always has been. That's another great invention right there. Now, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, I heard that it's not just going to be live online. They're planning on actually having a place that you could visit.
We're going to have a brick and mortar soon. I'm personally hoping it's going to be in Seattle because the game was invented in Bainbridge Island, just a ferry boat ride away from Seattle. So I'm hoping it's Seattle. Might not be, but I'm hoping Seattle. But I expect it to be announced in the next week or two.
Oh, it's coming that quick.
Yeah.
So your dad was put in 2017.
Yes.
And you made it in 2019.
Correct.
Now, it's not the easiest question, but your dad passed in 2019.
Right.
Was he?
So I got to tell my dad, he was dying. He was in hospice care, and I got to go tell him. When I got the phone call that I was chosen for the Hall of Fame, I drove right to Olympia where he was staying at a hospice care and told him. I brought his jacket. But yeah.
Was he still in good enough health to be able to enjoy that with you?
I still remember him going, that's great.
Oh, that's amazing. And, you know, as you guys were best friends and you're his only son, it's a full circle moment because I would guess that there's probably none, but you could tell me there's probably no other family members.
So we have a husband and wife.
Oh, you do?
The Hackenbergs, and Yvonne Hackenberg, the wife, she's also in Platform Tennis Hall of Fame. So that's easy to come from. It's very similar sport. Invented about the same time pickleball was, but
a double Hall of Famers.
Yeah, she's in 2 Hall of Fames, and her husband Jim. They won everything age group wise. They're about 5 years older than me.
His crush.
Yeah. Just freaks of nature is what you'll see at the older levels in pickleball. You'll like. I'm thinking, I'm going to be the fastest 70-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's like, they're just freaks of nature they're moving like the 35 when they're 70. And that's Jim Hackenberg. And he's probably pushing 80 right now.
And they probably live by the idea, and I believe in this too, and clearly you do, but use it or lose it type of a thing. And if you stay in a position where you're healthy and you stay in it and don't have to recover or gain a bunch of excess body weight that's putting that pressure on your joints and everything, you're going to have a better chance of playing high-end stuff longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to do that now in my 40s so that when I look back, I have less knee replacements and less health issues. And I'd like to be the guy who can play pickleball when he's 70, not necessarily super highly competitive, but I'd like to be able to walk out there and know
you might surprise yourself. You might get better every year from now until you're 70.
Well, I've found that with so many things in my life, because I work out all the time and because I optimize the nutrition part of my life, that the people who are my age are fading away when it comes to competition or their ability to do big things in a gym or on a sports court somewhere. So they're actually naturally falling off. And as long as you just keep pace with your routine, that I'm just like on accident separating myself from the pack.
Well, if you never get out of shape, that's a chore to get back into shape. If you've
so much more work.
If you've gained weight. By the way, I've known people in pickleball have lost 100 pounds.
That's impressive. So if people are looking for something easy entry, easy to learn the basics, and you get with some other people who probably want to get in better shape, and you could really change your life with this game.
Yeah, it's countless the number of students that I give lessons to that I look at how their body type has changed, just losing weight and how well they move compared to how they moved with a previous year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's huge, and you've gone so far as you've been involved with physical fitness for a long time, and you come in here, you're still in good shape. You seem like you could play pickleball for another 30 years, and you even. Like you play pickleball with an old student of yours, even.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. So you taught him way back in the day?
Marty Butler was a 5th grader my first year teaching. So I was 23. That would put him at about 10, 11 at the time.
Yeah.
Then later I did coach Hillsborough High School's boys tennis team. And he was on that team because he learned pickleball first. And then it was easy to learn tennis. Then we just remained close. Then guess what? He becomes a teacher just right up the street from where I taught him, same school district. And then he just retired. So amazing. He is now, I'm 70, he's about 58 and just retired.
That's incredible.
And he's still playing. He's a very good player.
I think being a good teacher is also kind of contagious, and I don't know what your system of teachers were growing up, but that's pretty cool that you taught this guy, you led by a good example, and then he goes the same path, and then hopefully planted that seed in another kid somewhere along the way where you continue to have these quality educators.
It's funny because I became a PE teacher because I thought my PE teachers were so bad and I wanted to do it differently.
And maybe you started the catalyst.
It was all militaristic PE classes when I was a kid.
Pull-ups and jumping jacks.
Yeah, I mean, and you have your uniform and it was very, junior high PE was I didn't look forward to it. We're just going to do jumping jacks and maybe climb a rope with everybody sitting around while you're. Yeah, I mean, I knew it could be done way more because my dad was doing it better than that in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So,
and you had your example, and maybe that's your teacher right there. It's coming from your dad. And I mentioned to you before, and half kidding, but still half serious, that my PE teachers in grade school and especially in middle school, I'm looking at him in my head right now. There is nothing about this man that screams physical fitness, good health. I would be willing to bet that he was pretty heart attack, in waiting mode. And, back then we'd go in the room and they'd squeeze your fat with the little fat getter and
calipers
and all these things. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, you couldn't squeeze his fat ever. And I mean, you just can't get there. And so a lot of the lessons fell on deaf ears for us kids because we're like, well, what are you talking about?
Right.
And
you
so
didn't set the example.
so when you're running the track, now I'm like, okay, I can get my head around this, or you're participating.
So here's something that I did that I'm probably the most proud of as a PE teacher. My fifth graders, and there'd be 3 or 4 fifth grade classes in my school. It's a big school. My last school was Shoals Heights in the Murray Hill area. And we put on a show for the entire school the Friday right before spring break. And every fifth grader starred in the show. Because I had those kids from kindergarten to fifth grade. I was, he's pretty good at, I think, you're going to be a juggler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at how he dribbles a basket. Oh, he can spin a plate. So everybody starred. And I'd have parents crying, I didn't know my son could do, so I think that's
so important.
Yeah.
I just have to piggyback that because I'm so that dad right now. My fifth grade daughter, she's in fifth grade currently, just starred in her first musical at the school.
Yeah.
And her mom, who is okay with me saying this, has no singing voice whatsoever. But the level of proud, like I've walked into the house probably 10 times since then, and she's one of the parents that put it on YouTube to just be sitting in a corner with a big old grin watching that kid sing. And I, growing up in theater and performing, I feel like that stuff is so important for a kid because it's well beyond who's going to be a star or this or that. It's communication skills. It's the ability to work with others and to, give and take. And the list goes on and on. And so that's very commendable that you were a part of all that.
I worked really closely with the music teacher too in our school. We had the same kids. I mean, one day they had PE, one day they had music. So we, in fact, some days we taught together. We call it rhythms. We, something rhythmical.
Yeah, that's smart.
We taught together, but no, that's important. That's what makes kids want to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Is the specials. They think, what special do I have today? Do I have technology? Do I have PE? Do I have music? Those are the special things. And where do we cut first?
Right there. And that's what's been happening in our schools. And my kids luckily go to school in a well-funded school district, and still they've cut the PE time down. They've cut the music time down. They almost cut music altogether if it wasn't for an internal uproar of people like, whoa.
Yeah.
What are we building here if we're going to get rid of the arts? And so luckily those programs have been saved. But at that very same theater production, they were like, could you guys all write notes to the school district that this was important tonight? Yeah. Like we had to stop at the exit and be like, oh, by the way, can you not?
Yeah.
And it's sad because it really is the fundamental piece of what makes a kid who they are.
One of our top local pickleball players, and he's also in the Hall of Fame, and I coached him when he was learning, Wes Gabrielson. He's 40 now. He was my doubles partner when he was in his 20s.
Nice.
He taught history at in McMinnville High School, and he got it approved to teach the history of rock and roll. You had to be a good student to get in that class, but the kids loved it.
Yeah.
And I got to I was a guest once a year. I was the Beatles guy. So I would sing Beatles songs, and they would make a trivia game, out of it, which Beatles sang this song, which album was it on? But that was, that kind of thing that makes kids want to go to school.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you've continued to teach and that you're kind of passing this game, this beautiful game, on to a whole nother generation. What would you like to see moving forward for the game beyond the Olympics and all that? Where do you want it to go? And do you see it getting there anytime soon?
Well, the path we're on right now is exactly there's no way I would have believed this was going to happen to our sport 7 years ago. Anybody that tells you they knew this was going to happen,
not a chance.
No. So I like the path that we're on. I like the idea internationally growing the way it is. And again, being in the Olympics, high school teams.
Or college.
College teams, high school teams. I don't know. I mean, we're going on the path that I wanted to go on. Oh, by the way, a documentary is just being released today on Apple and Amazon, and it's called The Power of Pickleball. And it covers the entire history. I'm in it.
Nice.
And my dad's in it. And I got invited to the screening in Hollywood earlier this summer at the Zanuck Theater. And, to look up there and see yourself on the big screen and your dad.
Was it pretty great?
Yeah, it's a very well done documentary. So that's available starting today.
Nice. And what did you say it was called?
It's called The Power of Pickleball.
The Power of Pickleball. And people can also check out, you've got a cool podcast yourself, Pickleball Fountain of Youth.
Right.
You want to explain what that's about?
So there was kind of a void where there's lots of pickleball podcasts, but none that really deal with seniors and pickleball. So we cover a lot of the topics that seniors are interested in. Fitness for seniors, which eye surgery should we have when we need our cataract? Do we want to see do we want to see far away? Because you could make the wrong choice
and ruin the game.
And because we just want to see distance, and we'll wear our glasses to read. Because
you're not going to sacrifice that.
No,
that's amazing.
Things like that. I just had a guest. I had a pro player on who's coaching some of the biggest names in pickleball. Good friend of mine, Eric Lang. In fact, he lives fairly close to here. He's on the tour, but he's in his 40s, so he's really making it into coaching now. I had a guest on he's a very famous AA speaker, former convicted felon. And his addiction now is pickleball.
Which is good.
So he replaced the unhealthy addiction with a healthy addiction.
That's awesome. Because, and you know this because I talked to you about it and you have heard a few of the podcasts. A lot of what this podcast is about are people who overcome the odds and people who do amazing things. And so I love to hear those stories where you find a way to fill the void with something else, because that's the best way to not go backwards.
Right.
Become addicted to something else.
Yeah.
I always say I'm addicted to working out because I have an addicted personality. So why not be addicted to something that is good?
And people that have those addicted personalities need that.
Yeah. And they can get good at something because they have to come back for more. They need to do it, and
right.
And I think most of us who have that type of personality kind of fall into the wrong side of it accidentally. So I just know what kind of animal I am, and so I do it that way. Now, for you, I guess one of the things in closing, you're in good shape, and you're now into the 70 range. What do you do for your health when it comes to nutrition and all that? Or just in general?
Yeah, I was fairly religious about being vegan for many years. I've kind of fell off that wagon lately. Try to eat as clean as I can. I am adding more protein because now all the studies are showing for seniors and longevity, strength is way more important than I realized. So I'm doing a lot more strength training
which is
now
huge.
It's religious for me. I do some strength training every day. Pull-ups.
They're huge.
Most people cannot do one pull-up.
So I had a thing where I did 50 a day for a year just to see what would happen.
Pull-ups.
Yeah. And I do my push-ups as well, but it was transformational. So much strength in areas that I wouldn't have thought. Yeah. And not like sitting there doing 50 in a row, just doing 5, rest, 5, rest, 5, just to, and do it all back to back to back. But I've noticed big change.
A big predictor of longevity is how long you can hang from a bar.
Yeah, the hang is not easy.
No, because if you don't have any grip strength, you probably don't have strength in your legs. And what happens when you don't have strength? You start falling.
Yeah.
Well, once you start falling and you're a senior,
that's when you get in big trouble.
That's when you get in big trouble. Yeah.
Because all it takes is a big break, and then you start to go downhill.
At pickleball, we're weight bearing all the time. We're on our feet, so our bones are stronger because of that. Weight bearings, any kind of weight bearing activity is great for the bones. If you wanted to see a funny pickleball movie's coming out, think of Dodgeball, Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
So he's got a movie coming out in July, and it's called The Dink. And so think of pickleball version of Dodgeball.
I bet that'll be
it's
great.
Got some big actors.
And I love Ben Stiller.
Yeah. So
he is hilarious as a director and as an actor.
I think he's directing this. I don't think he's in it, but
and he's been doing more of that. But he's got good ideas, and I'm all about it. So I will check that out. Like I said, I want people to check out your podcast as well, Pickleball Fountain of Youth. Maybe if you're getting into the game a little bit later, this is a good chance for you to get in without hurting yourself and maybe improve your game along the way and know exactly when to get that cataract surgery.
Yeah.
But you're a class act, and I'm so glad that I got a chance to sit down with you, and I can't wait for that brick and mortar of the Hall of Fame so we can go see. They need like a little bronze bust of you in there, Steve, you and your dad.
I know we'll have some of our original paddles there.
And you brought some stuff in here today, and I think all that needs to be on display. There's no reason why the history of the game shouldn't be at the forefront right there. And you and your dad, Arlen, are big parts of that. So thanks for coming in. It is the Fit for Radio podcast.
Thank you, Drew.
You are the man. We'll talk soon. And I'm going to go get those pickleball paddles out of the closet.
And we got to get you over to the Paranto Playhouse to play.
Oh, I would love to do it. And anytime you throw out the invite, I'll be there.
Okay, sounds good.
Cheers.